वो आईडी खोलो।
ये लो। मैं अपने मेल में खोलूँ मतलब थोड़ा और ऊपर से, थोड़ा और ऊपर, ये नीचे नहीं आना चाहिए ना। ठीक है, अब ठीक है, मेल वाले ही आ गए।
अब मेरी बात सुनो, वो कल की लाइव की लिंक मिली, लाइव तो चली गई, इसका मतलब
लाइव चली है
तो लाइव की लिंक होती ना। प्राइवेट
कैसे दिखेगी? नहीं, प्राइवेट से दिखेगी,
प्राइवेट है जिसका
लेकिन प्राइवेट में नहीं है।
इससे दिखेगी प्राइवेट, इस फॉर्म में इसलिए दिखेगी, और वाली आईडी से दिखेगी, स्वामी वाली आईडी, महाराज जी वाली आईडी।
ठीक है, मैं कर देंगे।
तो डाउनलोड करके उसका लिंक बना कर
मेरे को जरा यहाँ एडजस्ट करवा दो।
ये हो गया, ठीक है जैसे
इधर घुमाना भी तो है ऑडियंस की तरफ, इसको थोड़ा आगे करें सर, इधर घूम जाएगा।
कैसे डबल गिर जाएगा ये?
2-3 बार यहाँ से पकड़ लूँगा ना, इधर से ऐसे एडजस्ट है यार। आगे कर दो।
वीडियो प्राइवेट है, इसकी लिंक बनाओ, इसकी लिंक बनाओ। और इवेंट इज लाइव और रेड डॉट मार दो।
अपने कल भेजा था ना?
हाँ सेम, मैं भेज रहा हूँ आपको। क्या कर रहे हो?
तुमने कल भेजा था ना मैसेज, मत दिखा।
RKVM ऑनलाइन खोलो अभी, हाँ ये खोलो बस। अरे इसको कॉपी नहीं करना, टेप करना पाजी।
राहुल
इतना कितना शॉर्टकट मारना तो जूम हटाओ है ना, क्या किसी और लग रहा है मेरे को।
तुम्हारा प्रोग्राम का नाम
आप तो सिर्फ डिलीट कर लो।
मैम इसलिए हो कि फिर ये डायरेक्शन पूरा नहीं आता। मैम ये जो कर देना, आज कर देना। इवेंट इज लाइव तो लिखो उस पर, उसको करके टैग ना 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 ऊपर पर, ठीक है।
अभी 2 मैसेज फॉरवर्ड मार दो, ग्रुप्स वगैरह में सर्कुलेट करा। भाई क्या काम मेरा बुद्धि उसमें चलता है
भाई हटा देना, जल्दी जल्दी देख
भेजी ना,
हटाओ इसको। हाँ
देखो ये लाइव
तो ये ना मेरा हाथ ऐसे
सबूत है हमारे पास।
मेरा सबूत देता हूँ। इसको थोड़ा टाइम बोल देना आगे, तो क्योंकि अगर यहाँ रहेगा ना इधर रहेगा।
अरे रुको रुको, इसमें ये वाला ऑप्शन है ना,
वो ऐसे टेढ़ा हो रहा है कैमरा।
इसको उठा,
आगे इधर आगे,
इसको उठा के
बस। हाँ अब बताओ, मैं देख लूँ।
रुको रुको रुको,
घुमाना तो एक बस बस बस।
अरे पहले तो इसको ठीक करो यार। इसमें एक जायरो है, देखो जायरो है इसमें, ये
हाँ
है ना, इसकी जो वो है इसकी
क्या
बुलबुला है इसका,
हाँ।
देखो वो बीच में आ जाए।
इधर से आ रहा है, थोड़ा टेढ़ा हो रहा है। आ गया
आ गया, अभी यहाँ से आएगा थोड़ा सा, नहीं थोड़ा सा ऊपर करूँगा, थोड़ा ऊपर आ जाए यार।
ये पहली बार पता चला भाई मेरे को।
देखो देखो,
हाँ हाँ आ रहा है।
और
नहीं थोड़ा सा और टेढ़ा टेढ़ा टेढ़ा, बस एकदम करेक्ट।
एकदम करेक्ट हो गया। अब बस इसको एडजस्ट कर लो, ये हो गया अपना एडजस्ट एकदम।
थोड़ा और ऊपर करना, अगर वहाँ खड़े हो तो फेस आना चाहिए बस। उधर ही रखा है हल्का अब घुमा इसको उधर उधर पीछे की तरफ घूम रहा है ना।
मेरे मकसद कौन सा टीचर दिख रहा है?
बस
बेस्ट
बेस्ट
ठीक है,
पूरा आ रहा है ना, उधर से भी आ रहा है, इधर से भी आ जाएगा, बस सामने भी आ जाएगा।
कुछ देखो, मैं आपको एक चीज़ बताता हूँ, ऐसा मत रखे देना, जब महाराज जी वहाँ से आए ना चल के,
हाँ
तो यहाँ से शुरू करना,
वही तो करूँगा।
उसके बाद में धीरे 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 धीरे,
हाँ।
हाँ बस ये ऐसे करके। और एक चीज़ और, जैसे जब वो आ जाएं बोलने के लिए, तो यहाँ से जूम भी कर सकते हो आप।
अच्छा अच्छा
ठीक है,
ठीक है,
मर्जी है आपकी करने की। ये अपना एंगल,
इसको ये हो गया बस,
ये नहीं हिलेगा यार, मैं ये देख रहा हूँ, ये हाँ ये रहा, ठीक है।
हाँ
अभी चल ही रही है लाइव, 8 मिनट का वेस्ट लाइव है ये, कुछ भी नहीं है। सिर्फ एंगल एडजस्ट किया, मैं कैमरा ही हिल रहा है तब से।
मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, जैसे अपने सेशन चलता है,
हाँ
सर म्यूजिक अगर होगा ना, प्रवचन दे रहे हो अलग म्यूजिक भी होगा था,
वो उसको करना पड़ेगा, साउंड मैनेजर को करना पड़ेगा,
सजेस्ट करो ना, क्या बढ़िया लगेगा यार।
साउंड मैनेजर को करना पड़ेगा वो। नहीं यार वो फिर वो चीज़ नहीं है, या तो फिर इसमें प्रोफेशनल माइक लगाओ, तो फिर वो कैच करे, है ना, साउंड कैच कम करे।
बस पहुँचो, कैमरे पे पहुँचो।
हेलो I welcome Most Reverend Swami Vedapurushananda Maharaj in Ramakrishna Gwalior. I invite you to offer class in front of Thakur Mount Swamiji.
अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय आनंद सुंदर सच्चे सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामी तापहारे। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत्। श्री रामकृष्णाय नमस्तु।
As we are going to celebrate 125th foundation year of Ramakrishna mission. On this occasion, we have Swami Vedapurushananda Ji Maharaj, Secretary Ramakrishna Mission, Jharkhand, West Bengal with us. I request our Swami Supratiktananda Ji Maharaj to welcome our guest Swami Ji. Srimad Swami Vedapurushananda Ji Maharaj joined Ramakrishna Sangh at Vedapurushananda in 1998. Served Reverend Swami Ramakrishna Ji Maharaj for 10 months. Served in tribal centers of Narayanpur and Itanagar. He is headmaster of our schools at Purulia and Narendrapur for 10 years. Monk in charge of Youth and Education Cell at headquarters for 2.5 years. Currently Secretary of RKM Jharkhand for nearly 4 years. Jharkhand has residential school for Santali boys and girls, 460 students fully residential and first generation learners. Effort on the start of English medium school from class 1 to 12 affiliated to CBSE. I invite Swamiji Maharaj to bless us with the teachings of Swami Vivekananda Ji. Swamiji.
Namaste Etiya Vivekananda Suvai Satchit Sukha Sarubhaya Swami Tapahari. Very good morning to all of you. First of all, I convey my love and namaskar to the dynamic secretary of this ashram, Supratiktananda Ji Maharaj. I could not say no to his loving invitation. So I have to come all the way from Jharkhand, bordering Jharkhand, nearly 1,500 kilometers, in order to address you, to say some words about Swami Vivekananda. I also convey my loving namaskar to my dear brother Vimayogananda Ji, with whom I have a very long association, starting from our time together at Narayanpur. So I'm very happy to meet all of you, the regular teachers of the two institutions run by Ramakrishna Mission Gwalior. And also greetings to my students, boys and girls who are assembled here. I will be talking in English because Hindi I am not so fluent. I have been asked to speak something about the life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda, maybe for 45 minutes. I will basically touch upon one topic, that is Swami Vivekananda's contribution to Hinduism. Swami Vivekananda, as we know, lived a very brief life, less than 40 years. And in that also, his public life is for around 900 years. In that short time, he made a very lasting contribution to various fields. I will limit my discussion to Swamiji's contribution to Hinduism. And before going into the subject as such, there are two things I want to make it clear. Where does Swami Vivekananda stand in terms of the various teachers, the saints and incarnations we have in our Hindu tradition? So we should not make a mistake of seeing Swamiji as diverse from our Sanatana Hindu tradition. Rather, he is only the latest in the long list of acharyas and yuga purushas that we have in our country, who came to the world to rejuvenate, to reorient and recapitulate the ideas which are necessary for the age in a manner and language in which the people can understand and assimilate. Sister Nivedita, in one of her introductions in the complete works of Swami Vivekananda, she made this point very clear. She said, Swami Vivekananda stands as a rock where the Hinduism can lie at anchor and authoritative utterance in which she might recognize herself. So, in the lives and teachings and writings of Swami Vivekananda, what we get is the essence of Hinduism presented in a modern language. Sister Nivedita further clarified that Swami Vivekananda stands as a revealer, interpreter to India of the Buddha as true had he never been born. Nay more, they would have been equally authentic. The difference would have lain in the difficulty of access, in the want of modern clearness and incisiveness of statement, and in the loss of mutual coherence and unity. So, what Nivedita is saying is, even if Vivekananda has not been born, the Sanatana Hindu tradition would have been equally valid. The age-old truths of our Vedas and Upanishads would have been equally authoritative. But what Swami Vivekananda added is, he added the modern incisiveness to our ancient Hindu. So the difficulty would have been in the modern access to our ancient Vedic thoughts. He made it very accessible, made it very clear, concise, and very inspiring for us also. And he added the mutual coherence and unity among our diverse philosophical tradition. This in a nutshell is Swami Vivekananda's contribution to our culture, our Hinduism, and we shall see it a little more briefly. A Western scholar once said, the Vivekananda is a figure of great importance in the development of a modern Hindu self-understanding and in formulating the West view of Hinduism. So how a modern Hindu sees himself or herself, how she sees her own religion, that was Swami Vivekananda's contribution. So he helps us to understand our own religion better. And he also helps us for the West to view India in a very positive light. Because there were several, during colonial times, there were certain people who had presented Hinduism in a negative light to the Western people. And Swamiji was a pioneer who worked to remove these misconceptions. And so Swamiji's contribution is twofold. First, he made Hindus understand the glory of the old Sanatana Hindu tradition, and he also made the West to see Hinduism in a positive light. And his contribution, one by one, we will discuss. The first is the identity and the unity that he brought to Hinduism. Sister Nivedita, to go back again, says of Swamiji's address before the Parliament of Religions, it may be said that when he began to speak, it was the religious ideas of the Hinduism, but when he ended, Hinduism had been created. So it was Swami Vivekananda who for the first time showed that there are certain basic concepts which underlie the various sects that exist in Hinduism. Because there is a thought which says that Hinduism is not a religion per se. It is just a conglomeration of various sects, of various thoughts. So there is no as any particular text, because that is very unique thing for Hinduism. It does not have a single text as its authoritative one. It does not have a single prophet as its only one prophet. So it is a very diverse. Our authoritative text of three in number, Prasthana Traya, we say. Vedas, Brahma Sutras, and Bhagavad Gita. So Swami Vivekananda's first contribution is in the life of outside people. He gave a unity and an identity to Hinduism as a whole. If you recall, at the Chicago Parliament, many came to represent India from the perspective of their own sects. There were Jainism, there were Brahma Samaj, there were Arya Samaj, but Swami Vivekananda went not as a representative of a Vaishnava, as a Saiva, or as a Shakta. He went as a representative of Hinduism as a whole. And that was Swamiji's first contribution through his letters, teachings, and sayings. He made us aware of our own common heritage. And so K. Panikar, he wants to say, this new Shankaracharya may well be claimed to be a unifier of Hindu ideology. We all know that Hinduism is very diverse. It has a conglomeration of institutions, of customs, practices, belief systems, philosophies, cults, deities, scriptures. So there is a mind-boggling diversity. But underlying all this diversity, there is a thread of unity which is coursing through our tradition. And it was to the credit of Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, they accepted all this diversity. They did not try to get rid of this diversity. They did not try to amalgamize all these various thoughts. They gave importance to each thought, each way of looking at things, each philosophical system, and they never condemned anything. So they preserved, they accepted this diversity, and they revitalized this diverse tradition. And this is a very unique thing, because when we look back at the time when Swamiji and Thakur were there, India at that time there were multiple reform movements were going on. Each one of them they were very narrow in their interpretation of our Sanatana tradition. And if any one of them had succeeded, we would have lost our beautiful, rich heritage. We would have lost. Say, for example, if Brahma Samaj had been the dominant religious tradition of India, then we would have been all the diverse dualistic traditions would have been lost. But India, from the time immemorial, we have this rich diversity in our approach to God. And Ramakrishna and Vivekananda accepted this diversity, and they revitalized Thakur by his own life in sadhana. He revitalized this diverse way of approaching God. And Swami Vivekananda, he preach this truth to the people around the world. So because of that, Sri Rajagopalachari said, Swami Vivekananda saved Hinduism and saved India. But for him, we would have lost our religion and would not have gained our freedom also. And third thing which Vivekananda did was to universalize our religion. Our Hindu religion, we were very inclusive. We were welcoming to people of other traditions. But during the medieval times, we closed our doors. We were regressive, we were inward looking. But Swamiji once again made us look outside. If you remember, even there was an opposition for Swamiji's going to the West. The religious scholars of that time, they told we should not cross the ocean. You will lose your caste. So that was the narrowness we had at that time. Swami Vivekananda said Vedanta is the only religion that can be universal. If in future there has to be a universal religion, it is the Vedanta alone is fit to practice that because it is based on certain principles and not on personality. And Swami Vivekananda wanted us to spread this truth of Vedanta to the world. He said, "Out India and conquer the world through your spirituality." Outside India, people are dying for these Vedic truths, for these eternal truths. There is a great demand for Hindu spiritual traditions in the materialistic world. So he said, we Hindus, we must be responsible. We should first of all aware of the richness of our culture and heritage, and we should be ambassadors, each one of us. We should be ambassadors of our tradition. We should try to reach. We should go out of India and spread our message to the world. So that was, Swamiji was the first preacher in the modern times to go to the West, and following him, we all know, floodgates were opened and religious leaders from various traditions are now going to the West, all over the countries. Now all our ashrams, temples, matas, spiritual institutions are coming up, and there is a great demand for our Hindu Vedic thought. And Swamiji was a pioneer in universalizing our Hindu tradition. And another aspect of Swamiji's contribution is he helped us to understand what is the essential truths of Hinduism and what are the non-essential truths. He said that there is a diversity in our religious traditions, but there is some common areas where all of us agree. You may be a Shakta, Vaishnava, a Shaiva, you may be a Tantric, you may be a yogi, but all of us, if we are Hindus, we believe in certain fundamental things, which he said is common basis of Hinduism. There is a lecture also of Swamiji on this topic. He said, we are Hindus. If we are Hindus, all of us, we accept Vedas. All Hindus, irrespective of the tradition, we accept Vedas as truth. And we believe in soul. We believe in Atma. What is the nature of this Atma? What is the nature of this Atma and the Paramatma? There various traditions differ, but all of us, we believe in there's something that there is a spiritual core in us, in each one of us. So that is the second common point. And the third thing is, we all believe in the theory of karma, in the theory of transmigration of souls, in rebirth. So this is a common Hindu belief which we all have. And all of us, we also believe in our cultural unification factors like our reverence for Ganges, reverence for Gomata, and we don't eat beef, Hindus. So at the cultural, at the physical level also, there is some common things which is seen all over India. And there is a concept of Nishtha which everyone believes that each one of us can choose their own Ishta Devata, whom they like. Even in a family, a husband may have a preference towards one deity, a wife can have another son, daughters, they can have each one a different set of deities to worship. Because we believe that Ekam Sat Vipra Bhakta Vadanti, that God is one, He appears in different names, in different forms. So this is also a fundamental belief which percolates our thought, and Swamiji identified this, articulated it, and said, made us aware of all these ideas. And another contribution of Swamiji to Hinduism is during that colonial times, our Western scholars and even our modern Hindu people at that time preachers, they blamed Hinduism for all the misfortunes of India. They said India is a slave nation for 1,000 years because of your religion. Your religion is wrong. Your religion makes you weak. So you give up your religion. It is all faulty. It is true. It should have made you strong. It should make you conquer people. Why you have been a slave race for thousands of years? All the fault they lay it at the doors of the religion of Hinduism. So Swamiji argued against this argument. He said that Hinduism is not at fault for the misfortune of India. It is because we fail to apply the principles of our Hinduism in our practical life, so only we have come to this misfortune. And he had in his lectures, he gives a big list of reasons, and not one of them can be traced to our religion. It is all the wrong application of religious principles or our own selfishness. So that is another reason why Swamiji's contribution is remembered. And another fifth contribution of Swamiji is lay before us the importance of the Upanishads. We know the Vedas as a ritualistic portion, a Karmakanda, and there is a Jnanakanda and philosophical portion. The philosophical portion of the Vedas are called as Upanishads. Upanishads are also Vedas only, but they appear at the later end of the Vedas, where the philosophies, the nature of the soul, the nature of Atman, the Brahman, what is the connection, these things are discussed. And Swamiji made these Upanishadic truths a common thing in our culture. Because they were, the main problem with the Upanishads is they were in a language which is very archaic, which is not, the people of the modern times, they are not conversant with the Vedic Sanskrit. So the truths are all embedded in a language which is very inaccessible, and it is also limited to certain set of people. Vedas, Upanishads, only the monks have to read, or only some religious scholars have to read. For the common people, the Vedas are not useful, or they are not accessible, and they are not taught to the Upanishads. It was limited to a certain section of the society. And Swamiji made this common place. He said the Vedantic truths which are now in the forest, in the Himalayas, in the mountains, within a certain small section of the society, sannyasis and monks, it has to become a common place, and it has a potential to help each one of the human being, a housewife, a farmer, a fisherman, a teacher, an administrator, a student, whoever it may be. These truths can ennoble you, it will strengthen you, it will make you a better person. And so this is another of Swamiji's important thought, that he saw that there is no contradiction between this Vedanta and the science, because this is, we are living in a scientific and technological age. And he said our Vedas, our Upanishads, they are highly rational. They don't ask you to believe in anything. They don't ask you to have faith in anything. They say you test and see. I have realized. That's why Sri Ramakrishna also said, I have seen God, and I can show you also the path to see God. So it is a very scientific and rational way of approaching ultimate truth. And the ultimate truth has two aspects, an external aspect and an internal aspect. So, Dve Vidya, Veditavya, Parachanda, Aparachanda. There are two types of Vidya, Aparavidya and Paravidya. And both of them are in Vedas. the Upanishads leads with the Paravidya, that which leads you to Tad Aksharam Adhigamyate, that which leads you to the Akshara domain. And Upanishad deals with this, and there is no contradiction between the latest rules of science and Vedanta. Wherever there is a difference, it is only that science has still not come up to this level of the truth, where Vedanta is particularly applicable to the science of consciousness. And what Upanishads say is Sarvam Kalyan Brahma. Everything is Brahma. Everything is consciousness, Satchidananda. So slowly the science is also progressing. The time is not there for me to dwell on all these topics. In each one of them can be a topic for a separate lecture. Just I'm just touching them in brief to say Swamiji's contribution to Hinduism. He presented the eternal truths in a very rational manner, in which a modern mind can read them and he can understand the essence of the teachings. And another important contribution of Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda is that they stressed on the immanent aspect of Brahman. The ultimate reality, Brahman, it has a transcendental reality and it has immanent reality. It exists in this world and it exists beyond this also. So this transcendental reality of Brahman is of no use to our day-to-day materialistic life. So what Vivekananda and Sri Ramakrishna emphasized is that God is there present in each one of our movements, everywhere. It is also an ancient truth. Isha Vasham Idam Sarvam. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. God is everywhere. But we are failed to understand and appreciate the depth of this statement. If God is everywhere, He is there in me also, He is there in you also, He is there everywhere. So what are the natural corollaries of this thought? We have failed to reflect and failed to apply this thought, and Swami Vivekananda made it as his life principle. He said, my aim in life is to preach unto mankind its divinity and make it manifest in every aspect of their life. It's of no use if you simply say, yes, I believe that I am divine, I believe that there is a divine core in me. But if you act in your normal life in a very mean manner, if you are divine, so all your actions, your thoughts, your words also should be divine. So it has to percolate to your day-to-day dealings. So this Swamiji gave a series of lectures called Practical Vedanta, and how this Vedanta can be made practical, how it will be useful to every sections of the society. So this is another of Swamiji's important contribution, that he showed us how that Vedanta is not negative, it is not Maya, because the traditional Advaitis, they put a lot of emphasis on Maya. The people used to think the world is a Maya, so it is not unreal, so why should we strive? So such negative stance are all there. So Swamiji stressed on the immanent aspect, that God is everywhere, Shiva Jnane Jiva Shiva. That if God is everywhere, then we will worship God. We won't merely do seva out of compassion. So there are three things. One is Maya, Daya and Seva. Sri Ramakrishna made a distinction between these three. Maya is what? Maya is what we do out of our attachment to the people who are related to us in a blood relation. So that leads to attachment. But there is another higher level of the same emotion can be expressed, that is Daya, where you show compassion to people who are not related to you, who are unknown to you, but they are needing something, and you, without any expectation in return, you try to address their sufferings, address their needs. So that is Daya, that is compassion. And then Swamiji, Sri Ramakrishna added a third element. He said, who are you to show compassion, Daya to others? There is, you do it as a seva. Shiva Jnana Jiva Shiva. It is not Daya, but it is not his seva. That is what distributions Ramakrishna mission from other social service organizations, both in Hinduism and also in Christianity, Buddhism, all of them now they have compassion as one of the core tenets. In Buddhism, in Christianity, showing charity to neighbors. But we are not showing charity to neighbors because we believe that our neighbors are also God and we worship the God in them. So Shivakyana Jiva Shiva is a practical application of the eternal Vedantic principles which Swamiji made us practice in our day-to-day life. And another contribution of Vivekananda is he made yoga a household term. Remember, Swamiji was the first religious teacher in the modern times to address the Western audience on the subject of yoga. In fact, in the second visit to the West, he stressed on so many of his lectures delivered at California. He stressed on the practical aspects, how to control the mind, how to improve your concentration, how to meditate. He practiced on this yoga alone. And we all know he gave lectures and which came out in the form of books as 4 yogas and as 4 independent pathways to God. It is not that each one of them is a subsidiary to another, but each of the yogas, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga, each one of them is an independent pathway to God. He says, you combine this, one of his famous formulation is that each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest that divinity within. Do this by walk, worship, psychic control, or philosophy, by one or more or all of this, and be free. That is the whole of religion. So this concise definition of what religion is and what it is not. It is not dogmas, it is not beliefs, it is not rituals, it is not superstitions. So Swamiji's contribution is he delineated yoga from its physical manifestation. So yoga, there is a branch of yoga called Hatha Yoga, which is now popularly goes as a yoga. What? It is nothing but Hatha Yoga, which involves pranayama, involves the yoga asanas. But it is a branch of yoga, but there is a philosophical aspect of yoga also, which can be found in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Swamiji separated this higher yoga as a spiritual discipline which is different from the physical postures. And Swamiji made the yoga practical. And in ancient times, Sri Krishna also did the same thing. He also combined yoga and Vedanta and the philosophical aspects of yoga. You can see it in Bhagavad Gita also. In the modern time, Swamiji again reiterated the close connection between yoga and Vedanta, and he also made original contribution to each one of these yogas. And he asked to combine us all the 4 yogas. Even though he said you choose one yoga which appeals to you, he also said, particularly to those who follow Sri Ramakrishna, that Sri Ramakrishna's life we see the combination of all the 4 yogas. So he alone is a follower of Sri Ramakrishna, in whom all these 4 yogas will find manifestation. That is, in each one of our life, we have to combine these 4 yogas. So only in our Yundam also, Swamiji picturized this idea and how to combine these 4 yogas in our life. So Ramakrishna and Vivekananda showed us that the Jnana Yoga part is the discrimination. Each one of us, we have to discriminate what is real and unreal, what is good, what is bad, what I have to do, what I should avoid. So this discriminating facility of Viveka is a very important thing which is needed in our modern age. That is the essence of Jnana Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga is the sense of surrender to the Almighty, faith and surrender, worship, dependence on an almighty power, which we call God in various names. So that also in every one of our life it should be there. And Karma Yoga, we cannot desist from doing work. And that work either can make you a better person or it can make you a worse person also. So what, when it is done in the spirit of Karma Yoga, will lead you to liberation. It can give you both internal development and it will give you the external wealth also. Abhyudaya and Vishrayasa. Both can be acquired through work when it is done in a spirit of Karma Yoga. And this is a very important subject which all of us should study and reflect upon and try to practice, because we all work. But how to do work in a scientific manner that it leaves a very positive impact on the external world, but it also makes me a better person. At the end of the day, by my work, I might becoming a better person. So that question we have to ask, and when we ask, then we will search for answers, and these answers we will find from the Karma Yoga. It will tell you certain principles which will follow in our work. It is a question of attitude, and just a change in attitude will make us, will liberate us in many respects, and that is Swamiji's again another contribution. And Raja Yoga is concentration. So without concentration, there is no success, no lasting achievement, and concentration is necessary for everyone to do our work well. So all these four yogas, the essential principles, practicing the four yogas, we have to combine in our day-to-day life. The synthesis of yoga again is Swamiji's contribution to Hinduism. And finally, he rejuvenated the Hindu monastic tradition. The first person to do that was Shankaracharya. The monastic tradition is as old as the Vedas. So we know the concept of Chaturashrama, Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. And we know that right from Vedic times there were monks, but in Hindu tradition, the monks were never organized in a structured format. In a Buddhism it was there, but Hindu monastic tradition was never organized. It was at an individualistic level. And the first person to bring the symbols of organization was Shankaracharya, who introduced the Dasanami tradition. He grouped the entire monastic community into 10 ashramas, which he gave us 10 names, and even though there's some set of organization, he brought. And Shankaracharya also liberated Hinduism monastic tradition, because at that time the Vedic Karma Kanda was very powerful. Every individual was expected to do certain Vedic karmas. But Shankaracharya argued that monks, those who have renounced the world, they need not do these Vedic karmas, Nitya karmas. And there is a long list of his in Bhashyas we can see. So Shankaracharya was the first modern reformer of Hindu monasticism. And the second one was our Madhusudana Saraswati. He introduced these akaras. At that time, the sannyasis, it was meant only for the people of upper caste. The lower caste, they cannot become a monk. They cannot read Vedas and Upanishads. But Madhusudana Saraswati opened this monastic tradition to people of all classes of our society. And the third person who in the modern times remolded Hindu monastic tradition is Swami Vivekananda. Swamiji said he wanted to harness the monastic power for the welfare of our nation. We know in Kanyakumari that was the subject of his meditation. How to make our India great again. Who will help this nation in distress? He said the Hindu monks, they have been benefited by the society for thousands of years. Now this is the time for them to give something back to the society. And he made them, you just don't isolate yourself from the society and spend your time in forests and ashramas and mountains, but come back to the society and serve them and help them and lift them. And this is the responsibility which he gave it to them. But the advantage is the monastic monastic members, they are free from selfish desires. They don't have their own family to look after. And they don't run after the things of the world. So if these noble feelings, if they can be channelized for a higher motive, then it can bring a lasting impact on the society. But the motivate these monks to take up the problems of the society, because they don't want anything. They think they are free from social obligations or Vedas. If a monk, if a person takes up sannyasa, it frees him from all social obligations. So how can you make these free people bind themselves to the society? So that was the problem which Swamiji had to face. And how he solved it is by this philosophy of Shiva Jnana Jiva Shiva, that the work you do when you sit and meditate and when you go and serve in a hospital or a school, they are not fundamentally different actions. The spirit, the motive is the same, worship of the divine. Whether it is meditating on a cave or whether it is teaching in a school or serving in a hospital or looking after rural development, it is all a one long worship. And this Agni Sister Nivedita said is one of the Swamiji's seminal contribution to Hinduism. He broke this barrier between the secular and sacred. There is nothing as secular and nothing as sacred. Everything has to be divinized. And so this is a new approach to our life, to our work, and even to our monastic tradition was brought out by Swami Vivekananda. When Swamiji introduced this, he had to face a lot of problems from even his brother disciples. They were not ready to accept this new way of life. But Swamiji prevailed upon them, and slowly there was resistance from other monastic organization, traditional monastic communities. But now, in India and outside India, not a single monastic order exists who in some way or other are not involved in some seva activity, some welfare activity, everyone. They feel compelled to do because this is the Yuga Dharma, this is the Dharma of this age. So this fundamental shift in Hindu monastic tradition, in the way of life, was brought about by Swami Vivekananda in that he brought the monastic community in close with the world and made them address the needs of the modern society. So this is another Swamiji's lasting contribution, and I think time also is over. So these are the few things which I wanted to discuss. And Swami Vivekananda, as I told you, his contribution to Hinduism we have discussed. His contribution to our nation is a completely different subject. As Rajagopalacharya said, he saved not only Hinduism, he saved our India also. We may not have become free. Almost all the freedom fighters acknowledge Swami Vivekananda's contribution. And Jawaharlal Nehru once said that people of my generation, we have grown up, we grew up reading Swami Vivekananda, and our resolve spirit to serve the nation, we received it from him. And I want the younger generation to reconnect themselves with Swami Vivekananda and get inspiration from the fountain of the spiritual truths which are there. So as a teachers who deal with the younger generation on a day-to-day basis, it is very important for all of you also to be motivated by some higher thoughts, some higher principles, some higher values, which you will acquire from our rich Sanatana tradition and from outside also, world also, and pass it on to the younger generation. And very important thing is even the modern NDP also emphasize this, the rootedness to our culture and tradition. We, due to 100 years of colonial rule, we came to disown, look down upon our own rich heritage and tradition. we feel something inferior. We don't want to associate itself with it. And it is very deeply calculated into our academic institutions, both at the school level and at the higher education levels. Recently, I was at a seminar in IIT Kharagpur, and some professors from Delhi University Social Science Department were there. The topic was Nishkan's Seva, and from the sociological perspective. And all the quotations which they presented were all from Western scholars. There was not a single quotation from a Hindu tradition from India. And a person questioned them and they accepted. It is never part as a sociology course. We never study our own rich knowledge traditions. We only study what X, Y, Z from outside India has told. So we are not aware of it. So we grew up, we get educated in the knowledge which are borrowed from our West, and we ignore our own rich knowledge tradition, Indian knowledge systems. Now a lot of emphasis is put by the government here. In all higher educational institutions, a separate department is coming up where dedicated research scholars are trying to unearth all these knowledge systems that we have and try to present to the world in a very scientific manner. And so a lot of good work is going on, but we have to calculate it at the school level also. And we should be proud of our culture, we should be proud of our heritage. Swami Vivekananda said, I am the proudest Indian who has ever lived. He was never apologetic of anything about India. He will be the first person to jump into defense when anything about India is criticized. So the same amount of pride in our culture, tradition we should have. We should be a proud Hindu and we should try to know what is there in our culture, in our tradition, in our scriptures. There is so much positive thing which can make us better with that. We should try to reconnect ourselves and we should try to reconnect our children also to our culture and tradition. That can be the greatest service that you can do as teachers to the next generation. Apart from the transfer of your textual knowledge, try to give back something of our culture, heritage and tradition to the younger generation. For that, you have to prepare yourself, develop yourself, and I hope the lecture series like this that is arranged by Reverend Maharaj in a very thoughtful manner will help you to get acquainted with all these thoughts. Thank you very much for patient hearing.
नमस्ते राजाय विवेकानंद सुगुण सच्चिद सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामी. On the outset, I would like to sincerely pay my obeisance at the feet of Srimad Swami Vedapurushananda Maharaj. Just now we had a very beautiful expression of presenting Swami Vivekananda, right from global to the village level. In the Gita, it is said, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharatah abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamyanam paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. In short, the gist is, whenever there is the less or the loss of glory of our Sanatana Dharma, at a time supreme power descends on this earth and they once again re-establish or guide the society to tread the path of goodness, and in this way the ultimate goal of humanity may be reached. While doing that, there will be all the plus as well as minus scenarios and how to deal with that. That is also a main aspect of all these great people who come on this earth. As In the modern perspective, during that time, you can find how there was a confusion in the whole of the India regarding to the religion, the ethics, philosophy, spirituality, and all that. And there was a surprising combination of confusions spreading across the nation, and that has to be dispelled. It only needs a superhuman power or superhuman contribution. Swami established Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma in the West also. Swami rather was the first torchbearer of Hinduism into the Western countries. He visited the top brains of the world and explained to them in a simple, very simple way the essence of the Hinduism. As Swami has said, that means there are two type of knowledge exist. One is the supernatural knowledge and another is the knowledge related to mundane activities. So the spiritual aspect must be known so that the mundane activities or the mundane knowledge can be enhanced very quickly. For example, for the student, dhyana necessary, unless and until you have the concentration, how that student can gain this mundane knowledge of science and technologies. That's why, in order to fulfill the mundane needs, the spiritual power is very much necessary. Dharana, retention power. The student is reading, but he is not able to retain. Then what is the use? So this dharana, which is the aspect of spirituality, come into the play. In this, the significance of Hinduism or our tradition or the ancient wisdom has been presented by Swami Vivekananda in front of the best brain of the world. And then they started absorbing it, they started cross-examining it. But being a sincere as well as devoted monk of Hinduism, Swami answered all the questions. This is his Western contribution. Swamiji has established the first Hindu temple in Los Angeles, Swami, through his brother disciple, that Swami Trigunatitananda. And after that, so many sects and everybody went over there and they are spreading nothing but the Hinduism only. So all are welcome. In India also, we will find there are so many agnostic people who are coming up, and those agnostic people, they had their own organization, they never wanted to believe in God, and they wanted a Western route to have something higher. The Brahmo Samaj is the best example, where they never accepted the Godhood of the Supreme Power. Swami Vivekananda was also a member of that Brahmo Samaj during that time. So, in nutshell, Swami Vivekananda was the most modern and most advanced youth of that time. Sri Ramakrishna molded Swami Vivekananda, that is the best brain of that time from the Indian soil, to tackle all the challenges presented in front of the Hinduism. And that is what is the benefit or the biggest advantage, whatever we have now to hold upon. It is nothing but a contribution of Swami Vivekananda. He has explained the yoga, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra in a such a lucid way that can even a small child can grasp it. Previously it was very intricate. The access was for only limited people. बाकी लोग कोई पढ़ेगा नहीं. So limited लोग हैं वही पढ़ेंगे. Now Swami has thrown it overboard for all the type of people. They can explore it and take the benefit out of it and understand in their own ways. Then Swami has dealt with that one verse from Isha Upanishad, isn't it? That is first one, Maharaj. What is that? Isha Vasya Idam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagata Tena Tektyam Bhujita Ma Buddha Kasasvit Dhanam. Very beautiful verses. That also, this one verse also in one life, if we can assimilate, almost all the Veda Vedanta can be assimilated. What does that slok say? Isha Vasya Idam Sarvam. That means whatever we are seeing, it is covered or it is pervaded by some entity may we call the Ishwar. That's why it is said Isha, Brahman, God, Allah, whatever you may say. So whatever is existing on this earth, Isha Vase Idam Sarvam, Yat Kinchit Jagatyam Jagat. जो भी दुनिया में कुछ है वो ईश्वर से परिपूर्ण है. ठीक है. तेन त्यक्तेन भुंजितो, है ना, यानी उसका भोग कैसा करो, त्याग पूर्वक भोग करो, है ना, पॉजिटिव वे से भोग नहीं करो. क्योंकि कस्य सिर्फ धन किसका है, आज इसके पास है कल उसके पास है, मरने के बाद भी कहाँ धन रहने वाला है. तो जो भी है उसको त्याग पूर्वक उसका भोग लो. एंजॉयमेंट पूर्वक नहीं बोला है. अपना ये इंडियन फिलोसॉफी का ये बेनिफिट है, त्याग पूर्वक, है ना. दादाजी पेड़ लगाता है, नाती को पेड़ का फल मिलता है. उसको खुद के लिए लगा देगा नहीं, नेक्स्ट पीढ़ी के लिए, नेक्स्ट पीढ़ी के लिए. दादाजी को भी जो मिला होगा वो उनके दादाजी ने लगाया हुआ मिला होगा. दैट मीन्स देखो फिर से त्याग करो. This aspect we should not forget. Now in the days of this YouTube and social media, we are only interested in our own enjoyment. That is not our culture. That was never our culture and that will never be our culture. Our culture is enjoying or feeling satisfied by giving up. घर में कोई भी आता है इमीडिएटली हम लोग क्या करते हैं, नहीं पूछने से भी हम पानी देते. क्यों देते? और होता है वो पानी पिलाओगे नहीं, लेकिन वो देना, वो पानी का एक ट्रे रख देने से हम लोग सेटिस्फाइड है. बाद में चाहे होगा नहीं होगा वो बात की बात है, पहले देना. सो दैट इज इन आवर ब्लड, isn't it? Exploit it, build our life upon that. और त्यक्ते न भुंजितो, आप जो भी कर रहे हो आप अपने बच्चों के लिए कर रहे हो, isn't it? बच्चों की खुशी हमारी खुशी, ये होना चाहिए. अभी तो बाहर में जमाना ऐसा आ गया है कि बच्चे बाद में पहले हम, and that is the cause of dissent in every house, isn't it? So this has to be taken care of, this has to be thought of, and this has to be implemented. And that the same feeling we should have towards our student. बच्चे first, उनका betterment first, isn't it? We should be happy only when the students are happy, the parents are happy. That will make, what is the advantage? क्यों इतना खटना, इतना मेहनत करना? Because that is the way to success or happiness for our personal happiness also, isn't it? That's why it is said. स्वामी विवेकानंद इतना अकेले आदमी ने जीतने दिया. एक समय में स्वामी जी बोले कि ये स्वामी विवेकानंद ने क्या किया है, ये समझने के लिए दूसरा स्वामी विवेकानंद ही आना जरूरी है, वही समझ सकता है. Such a great sacrifice, such a great contribution, such a great thinking for Mother India always, isn't it? And to work it out, he scolded so many people, he scolded so many higher aged people also in a disciplined manner. That is also a one thing. We must keep the respect of the elders when there is the point of differentiation, opinion of differentiation. That also has to be learned from Swami. And then the yoga, as Swami says, the contribution of propagating yoga in the West. ये जो अभी जो योगा हो रहा है ना, उसका बीच स्वामी विवेकानंद ने रखा है. बेटी पढ़ाओ बेटी बचाओ. हम लोग अभी बोल रहे हैं 100-150 साल के बाद स्वामी जी ने सिस्टर निवेदिता को ला के वहाँ गर्ल्स स्कूल चालू किए. उसको भी 100-150 साल हो गए होंगे. निवेदिता सिस्टर निवेदिता गर्ल्स स्कूल, isn't it? And Swami Vivekananda has said, whatever will be coming good in this world, either in India or outside, the Ramakrishna mission will be the source of inspiration for all. Always remember. And it is happening. Last 150 years, we have seen it. If whatever new thing has come, the source of inspiration for those people was Swami Vivekananda. Recently, we have came across the quotation of Mukesh Ambani, isn't it? We have put it on the YouTube also, school YouTube, you can browse it. We had shared for the student also. Whatever he say, what he said, Swami Vivekananda is my inspiration, he is my idol, isn't it? And he has worked out Swami inspiration from Swami Vivekananda in the field of business. Always remember. So he became the giant in the business. Apply Swami Vivekananda in teaching line, you will be the giant in teaching line. Apply it in the administration, you will be giant. Narendra Modi, he is the best example, giant in the administration, inspired by Swami Vivekananda. Everywhere, Jamshedji Tata, whatever Tatas have their 50, 60 companies, conglomerate, that was inspired by Swami Vivekananda. Science and technology coming into India and propagating it, it was propagated by Swami Vivekananda once again. By encouraging Jamshedji Tata to establish his Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. Isn't it? Still, they are retaining their global rank above the IITs of India. So, we are under the grace of and protection of this such a giant person. And such a giant person, he goes flatly in front of Swami Vivekananda. He takes 3-4 times dips into Ganges before visiting Holy Mother. Isn't it something miraculous? ये गांव वाले दो लोग इनके सामने इतना जाइंट माइंड फ्लैट सो रहा है या प्रोस्ट्रेट कर रहा है. That means there is something higher, much higher available, and that's why being the idol, Swamiji is prostrating in front of them, isn't it? So such a great power is with us. And today Swamiji narrated a different aspect, revival of the Hinduism, then propagating the Upanishad in the right sense, then Para as well as Apara Vidya, both the Vidya, isn't it? One Vidya, यानी आप बोलोगे कि क्या जरूरत है? साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी डिग्री ले ली, नौकरी मिल गई, हो गया, लेकिन एक हाथ से पंछी उड़ता है, कभी नहीं उड़ता, उसको दूसरा होना है. ये दोनों बिक रहेंगे तब कहीं his flight will be enjoyable. Otherwise, it will be suffering, only suffering. एक पंख कितना आपको उड़ाएगा, and that is the cause of failure or frustration in our life. Unless and until we have both the wings strong, you cannot have a peaceful or fruitful life in this world, isn't it? That has to be, the spiritual aspect has to be strengthened in personal for our mundane benefit also. It is very much necessary. That is the UPS, isn't it? जनरेटर है, ठीक है, वो तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी सप्लाई करेगा, लेकिन वो जनरेटर चलाने के लिए डीजल ही नहीं है, तो क्या करेगा जनरेटर? This body is a generator and spirituality is nothing but the diesel. So unless and until you maintain the proper supply of diesel, how this body is expected to respond? And that comes out of various elements, that comes out of fear, psychosis, anxiety, all the elements. Yesterday one devotee has called us, he wanted to get treated in our Vivekananda Ayush dispensary. Why? I told our doctor to talk to that devotee and get me back. So after talking, he said, नहीं नॉलेज कुछ नहीं है, एंजाइटी का इशू है. एंजाइटी कारण खाना नहीं हो रहा है, एंजाइटी रेगुलरिटी लाइफ में नहीं रहने की वजह से फ्रस्ट्रेशन आ रहा है, जो टाइम पे जो करना है वो नहीं करके हैफाजार्डली जस्ट रिसर्च स्टाइल से जीने की कोशिश की, उसका आउटकम ये है. यहाँ सुबह से चालू होता है, प्रेयर से लेके तो पूरा शाम तक. That has to be imbibed, and we, since we are the teacher, we should also assimilate and accept it. नहीं तो प्रेयर के समय में खड़े तो रहते हैं, लेकिन हमको कोई लेना देना नहीं, ऐसे उसके बॉडी से पता चलता. तो बेनिफिट जो मिलने वाला उसके में वो स्विच ऑफ करके रखेंगे और लाइट नहीं आ रही बोल के फायदा नहीं. इसलिए all this aspect, what Swami Vivekananda has expounded, Swami has said once again, I have molded the caste. Put yourself in that caste and be blessed. स्वामी जी को कुछ नहीं चाहिए, नहीं भी अपने आप कास्ट करोगे तो भी किसी का फर्क नहीं पड़ता, दुनिया में किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ता. फर्क पड़ता है अपने सुख दुख के लेवल पे. And that's why we have to act very wisely, and that is why the power of discrimination is necessary. That is called the vivek. When there is something higher, we must accept it, appreciate it. And when there are certain weaknesses within our person left. We have to slowly eradicate. But our ego is such a strong fellow who doesn't accept the changes so easily. He gives flowery excuses within ourselves also. And there is where the power comes. Can you handle that? Can you handle the changes within ourselves for the good of ourselves? That is called the courage. Not that muscle power is only the courage. Isn't it? And to implement it, to put it to the mechanism, so that we should not forget it. That is nothing but the tradition. That is nothing but the culture. ये कल्चर का बेनिफिट हमको नेचुरली मिलता है, लेकिन उसको ये यूज करें तब तो होगा. स्वामी जी once again said, what is good in the east we must retain. तो ईस्ट में क्या है? कल्चर है, वो भी थोड़ा सा क्या बोलते हैं डस्टेड है, तो डस्ट दूर करो, उसको रिवाइव करो, पॉलिश करो, कारपेंटर को बुलाओ, पैसा दो, पॉलिश करो, उसको बढ़िया करो एंड यूज इट rather than replacing it with thousands of rupees. Other कारपेंटर कितना लेगा? 500 रुपये. Is it not the wise thing? लेकिन वो जो पुराना ही है उसी को राजवस्था पूरा फटा है और राजवस्था करके चल रहे तो लोग तो हंसेंगे. इसीलिए तो वेस्टर्न लोग कितने हंसते हैं. Isn't it? And Swamiji has given the solution for that. Unless and until we read Swami Vivekananda, we cannot get the full enjoyment or the satisfaction in our life also. Because the leakage are there in our pipe. There are so many leakages and we want a full power or full force water. How it will come? We have to firstly locate the leakages and should be ready to address those leakages. If you give the excuse for not addressing those, what will happen? Your pressure will become, isn't it? दूसरा और एक एक्सेप्ट स्वामी जी ने बोला था कि यहाँ एक बॉइल हुआ है, ठीक है, वो अंदर से धीरे धीरे शुरू हुआ. मैं तो हाय हेलो कर रहा हूँ लेकिन अंदर में वो दुख रहा है, मेरा अटेंशन डाइवर्ट कर रहा है. फिर भी हम उसको ट्रीट करने की इच्छा नहीं होती क्योंकि नहीं ये मेरा हाथ है, उसको कौन ऑपरेट करेगा, अच्छा नहीं लगेगा भविष्य में, है ना. तो हम लोग वैसे ही छोड़ देते हैं. क्या होता है? एज एक्सपेक्टेड द बॉइल कीप्स ऑन ग्रोइंग. बाद में बड़ा होता है, बाद में लोगों को दिक्कत, लोग टोकते हैं क्या हो गया. तो उसने लोगों ने नहीं टोकना चाहिए करके अच्छा गोल्डन कलर का उस पर स्कार्फ वगैरह बांध देते और चलते. फिर से दुनिया में आया लोग सब हम खुश दिखा रहे हैं, लेकिन अंदर से तो दुख हो ही रहा है. आखिरी में हाथ काटने की जब बारी आई है तब वो करेंगे ऑपरेशन कराओ. तो इतने दिन से आपको बताया जा रहा है, आप नहीं सुने तो दुख किसको लगा? किसके नसीब में है? अपने नसीब में. इसीलिए why we should comply to all good things for our betterment first. दुनिया में तो बाद में होते रहेंगे. Our satisfaction के लिए, our company feel good factor के इस हिसाब से देखेंगे तो immediately our mind becomes ready to accept the changes. Isn't it? अभी जैसा बोला है रामकृष्ण, श्री रामकृष्ण, श्री राम, बाद में भगवान श्री कृष्ण, all they were great personality, no doubt about it. So many good things are implemented from the Ramayana as well as this Gita also. But still there has come the most modern. If you do not know Ramayana, Mahabharata, if you do not read the scripture, still you have the simple access through Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna and Mahasharada's teaching to the highest truth of the world. And where to go? पैदा तो हो गए, कहाँ जाना है? क्यों पैदा हुए? क्यों मरना है? मरने के बाद क्या होगा? All these small things are to be addressed properly. और इसके लिए ही अपने आप को अपग्रेड करना. और ये अपग्रेडेशन एक बार हो गया तो बस बाद में कोई चिंता नहीं. This should be the roadmap. And I thank Swami ji, Swami Vedapurushananda Maharaj. He is a excellent administrator. Very silently I have visited Swamiji's center and found out such a big establishment, 450 students residing into the campus. Their food, medicine, education, everything is taken care of. Not only of the boys, but girls are also staying over there in the same campus in different sub-campuses and looking after it, addressing the issues, addressing the finances. It is not a single or very ordinary job, isn't it? And now Swami is planning for another CBSE school, English medium school. Rather, I would like to once again remind you where Swami is operating the school, that is the first generation of the students in that community. Just imagine, देश आज़ाद होने कितने साल हुए, लेकिन अभी भी लोगों को एक्सेस नहीं मिला। झाड़ग्राम में रामकृष्ण मिशन जाके फर्स्ट स्कूल वहाँ के फर्स्ट जनरेशन के लिए फर्स्ट क्या बोलेंगे उसको लिटरेट कम्युनिटी विल बी दिस स्टूडेंट एंड दे हैव अ ट्रेमेंडस पावर। जहाँ भी भेजते हैं स्पोर्ट्स के लिए वो सब प्राइज इसी लेके आते हैं, isn't it? और इसीलिए बोला है कि न्यू इंडिया विल राइज फ्रॉम द हार्ट्स एंड ऑफ द शॉप, फ्रॉम द प्लाउ, फ्रॉम द विलेजेस। क्यों? ये क्योंकि उनमें वाइटलिटी है, पवित्रता है, सिंसियरिटी है और थोड़ा भी करने से आगे जाते हैं। सिटी में वो बच्चे बचपन से ही सब देख रहे हैं चारों तरफ घोटाला, तो उनका माइंड कंटेमिनेटेड है। इसलिए all the students from the villages, they are able to beat all these big people. Recently, Swami told us कि हमारे शारदा पालगांव के बच्चे, ठीक है, वहाँ एक वो क्रिकेट क्लब है। वो क्रिकेट क्लब में बाहर के बच्चे आते हैं, वहाँ प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, नेट प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, वहाँ पैड वैड और ये हेलमेट डाल के वहाँ स्टाइलिश में से वहाँ प्रैक्टिस करने आते हैं। पिताजी छोड़ रहे हैं, वहाँ लेके जा रही है और हमारे बच्चे कभी खेले नहीं क्रिकेट, ठीक है, ऐसे में वहाँ गली छाप खेलते रहते। तो आई हर्ड देयर वाज अ मैच बिटवीन शारदा पालगांव स्टूडेंट एंड वो क्लब के बच्चे, है ना। शारदा पालगांव वाले लोगों को ठोक के आ गए वापस विदाउट एनी आई वाज थिंकिंग व्हाई इट हैपेंड। इनको ना ट्रेनिंग है, कुछ नहीं है, फिर भी कैसे मन पवित्र है। समझ में? मेन इशू है आपका मन सरल होना चाहिए, मन सिंसियर होना चाहिए, मन पवित्र होना चाहिए, देन एनीथिंग कैन हैपन। शारदा पालगांव इज द बेस्ट एग्जांपल ऑफ दिस क्रिकेट मैच। और इसीलिए अपने में भी वो भाव आना चाहिए और अपने स्कूल के बच्चों में भी आना चाहिए, वो पेरेंट्स तक जाना चाहिए, उसकी महक सारे समाज में जाना चाहिए। इस टाइप से व्यवहार करना, यही श्री रामकृष्ण और स्वामी जी और माँ शारदा के प्रति सही सेवा है। और इसमें दुनिया का फायदा होता है नहीं होता तो बात का है, लेकिन अपना फायदा होता है। वी आर वेरी मच enthusiastic to address all the challenges। और फिर चैलेंज ये क्या बोलते क्रॉस करने में आनंद आने लगता है और फिर हम लोग चैलेंजेस ढूंढते हैं और चैलेंजेस आए तो पार करने में और आनंद आता है। और पहले क्या होता होगा, चैलेंज आते बराबर है क्या है, मैंने इधर से आ रहा है इधर हट जाओ, इधर से आ रहा है इधर हट जाओ, तो ऐसे इसमें क्या होगा, you will not be expert। और जब सिचुएशन आएगी the failure is the result, है ना। किसी को ज्योतिषी की बताने की जरूरत नहीं होती। इसलिए स्वामी जी बोले हैं कि what is good in the east we must retain and what is good in the west we must assimilate। उनका क्या है, पंक्चुअलिटी, टाइम से आना, रेगुलरिटी, एक ही काम बार बार करना है, बाद में कलेक्टिव गोल, इंडिविजुअल गोल नहीं, पूरे टीम का गोल, टीम का सक्सेस यानी अपना सक्सेस। एक जगह स्वामी जी बोले हैं कि आपको ऐसा काम करना है कि टीम के सभी लोगों ने अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन दे दिया है। अभी सक्सेस ऑफ द टीम ओनली डिपेंड अपॉन माय कंट्रीब्यूशन टू द टीम। ऐसा यदि 10 टीम वाले मेंबर्स है, 10 टीम वालों ने सभी ने ऐसा सोचने से और वैसा एक्ट करने से सक्सेस नहीं मिलेगा, 101% दैट इज द वे। लेकिन हिंदुस्तान में कलेक्टिवली काम करने का, ऑर्गेनाइज वे से काम करने के लिए कोई रेडी ही नहीं था। इतना हमारा अधपतन हुआ था। एक कोई काम करने के लिए 4 लोग एक जगह में आते, कुछ दिन के बाद देखो लोगों के टुकड़े होते, है ना। ब्राह्मण समाज इतना फेमस और इतना एडवांस था, उसके भी 4-5 फैक्शन होते। क्यों? वी आर नॉट रेडी, अवर ईगो इज नॉट रेडी टू एक्सेप्ट अदर एज अ लॉस। अपने में तो कीमत नहीं है, लेकिन अगले में है तो उसको एक्सेप्ट करने में भी अपने में बड़प्पन नहीं है। यानी कितना माइजर और कितना छोटा मन है, ये ऐसा छोटा मन हिंदुस्तान में परवेट हुआ था। इसीलिए हिंदुस्तान परकीय लोगों के कंट्रोल में गया। अभी वो सब गलतियां हैं, वो तो अपने को फाइंड आउट करना है और एट द सेम टाइम इसको यहाँ रिवाइव करना है, नए जनरेशन को इसको पास ऑन करना है। दिस इज अवर नेशनल ड्यूटी, दिस इज अवर डिवाइन ड्यूटी फॉर विच ठाकुर Swami has come. Today, I once again sincerely pay my obeisance at the holy feet of Swami Vedapurushananda Maharaj, who kindly accepted, very kindly, very busy. You cannot understand from here. Very busy, but still out of love for us, he accepted our invitation and he is here. Yesterday morning 6 o'clock he started from Jharkhand. By 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock he reached to Calcutta airport. 12 o'clock flight he availed. Got down in Delhi around 2:30. Then came out of the airport and reached over here into the Nizamuddin railway station to avail another train. And at 10:15 he is here. Yesterday night. Within 1 day, all over the travels. Connecting flight was not there, otherwise he would have come again earlier. So we are very much blessed, Maharaj, with your pious presence over here. And I hope your love and affection will always shower upon this center in future also. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tats Shri Ramakrishna's. अभी concluding भजन होगा Ramakrishna. All of us will sing together and then little bit refreshment and the singing will move for exam questions, invigilation or evaluation. I want all the and paper checking one work done by 20th of this month. All the marks should be uploaded by 20th of this month. That speedily we should do. And 2-3 days will be needed for getting the printouts and all that day. And another then Holi will come. And then after that lamination process is there. So there must be at least 10 days in the hand of office people so that they can address all the issues for taking the printouts. And all the class teachers are suggested to verify the final prototype of their classes report card after filling all the data and find out the any shortcomings if any. And once you sign it over there on that form, maybe you should know exam department, they should be also looking after it. After getting, if the class teacher says okay for the format of report card, get the sign of that class teacher over there and immediately start taking printout and side by side start the laminating it so that comfortably we will be ready, mentally free by the 20th of this month, and on 30th there will be the annual school visit. And the school once again will start on the 3rd of April as usual. But before that, all the class teachers this year should ensure that almost all 100% attendance should be in the class. Otherwise, from Balram school also, there is a tendency of just नहीं आ रहे घर में है तो आज नहीं रहे तो अपना भी कुछ नहीं जा रहा है, ये मेंटालिटी नहीं होना है ना. In order to make them good futures oriented citizens, we must force them, we must insist them to come to the school regularly. And then this aspect of regularity, कोई आ रहा है कोई 8 दिन 15 दिन नहीं आ रहा है, immediately class teachers are expected to call them, remind them, so that it will be helpful for the class teachers also. Whole year, if you keep on insisting and informing to the parent, they will never come to you complaining आपने पढ़ाई नहीं, isn't it? That is another thing. And secondly, all the supplementary books, that means Vedic Maths, Wordsworth, Swaradhara, then Furtados, then your language, this lab book, all the books work should start from the first this April itself. जनरली वी हैव द टेंडेंसी हाँ आखिरी में जनवरी में करेंगे फरवरी में करेंगे, तो तब तक वो बुक को सेलर बुक नहीं मिली तो वापस करता था, बाद में बुक कहाँ से मिलेगी? एंड व्हेन यू विल स्टार्ट using those books from the April itself, all the students will purchase that beforehand, and there will not be any issue of कि book नहीं है, नहीं मिल रही है, isn't it? That has to be taken care. Thank you.
I humbly request all of you to participate this time, the Ramakrishna ceremony. I think as a speaker to this time of all. Krishna
Maharaj will be sitting on the chair. One by one, everybody will come over there, have the blessings, have the prasad from the Swami.
दीपक सर, दीपक सर,
क्या इधर हंसी मजाक हो रही है
साइड में
खिड़की बंद कर दो।
हाँ राहुल राहुल इधर से सही आ रहा है राहुल, इधर से सही आ रहा है, सही आ रहा है इधर से देखो।
बैक आएगी
शिवाज पीछे का गेट बंद कर देना, टेबल रख के कुर्सी रख के। हेलो मोहित
राजू
खत्म हो गया। काफी
बीच में हिल गया था, इधर आया था ना, हिल गया थोड़ा सा।